Next on Good Morning El Paso, happening today, early voting begins in Texas, and there are some big decisions to be made in the borderland.
Some residents in East El Paso still without water right now and wondering when it will come back. Meanwhile, some neighbors in the lower valley had to go without electricity overnight.
And happening today, the suspects from last week's robbery spree and police chase are getting ready to come face to face with the judge.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC7's Good Morning El Paso.
Rise and shine. A very good morning to El Paso, Las Cruces, and Juarez. I'm Stephanie Valle.
And I'm Floren. Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, October 19th. A pretty nice weekend we had, and now some rain chances still sticking around.
Yes, it's pretty nice to see those rain chances right now, Crystal.
Absolutely. Temperatures a little bit lower. Things have just been very comfortable out there. Now, yesterday in the peak of the afternoon, we did warm up to the 80s, and today we will do so again, which means we're a bit above average in the forecast. But the chance of rain really does make it a little more comfortable out there. Right now, we're seeing that those rain showers are just focused off to the north of us. We do have that one cell that's tracked right on through parts of Sierra and Otero County, now on into Lincoln County near Ruidoso. Otherwise, not a lot of rain to look at in our neck of the woods, aside from right near parts of Hudspeth, Culberson County. That may change, though, later today on into tonight. We're looking at a better chance of showers in the forecast, especially on into Tuesday and your Wednesday. As for temperatures, we're at 64 degrees in El Paso this morning, and over in Las Cruces, sitting at a temperature of 59 degrees. Winds are light at this point, but I do expect later today breezy conditions, breezy to windy weather in the days to come. A lot of shifts in the forecast as we look at a better chance of thunderstorm development. We'll talk more about that with your forecast coming up.
Okay, thank you, Crystal. And first, around-the-clock news from the lower valley, and it's good news. The power is back on this morning. El Paso Electric reported about 6,400 people were without power for about an hour last night. No word on what caused the outage around 11:30, but it was back on by about 12:30. If you know someone who relies on a plug-in alarm, though, just be sure to give them a friendly wake-up call.
Some people in East El Paso are still waiting for the water to come back on this morning. This after a water main break that happened earlier over the weekend. It caused a massive sinkhole that nearly killed a man. Take a look at that. This is video sent to us by an ABC7 viewer. Fortunately, the driver was able to walk away with only minor injuries. But the incident didn't end there because hundreds of people were left without water. Since then, El Paso water utilities have restored a lot of people's services, but 75 meters are still without running water as of right now. That affects residents in the Meadowbrook apartment complex. Over at the Castillejo apartment complex, water was finally restored yesterday, but keep in mind these residents were without water for nearly 2 days.
Makes you appreciate water a little more.
A lot, but now, now these days, you know how you feel. It wasn't even 24 hours with no water. It was real bad.
This morning, traffic is still being forced to move around that sinkhole. A spokesperson with El Paso Water Utilities tells us he does not know when that road will be fixed. He also said it is their first priority to fix that break.
Early voting begins today, and registered voters will begin heading to local polling stations this morning to decide on a variety of issues around El Paso County. Good morning, El Paso's Denise Olivas is live with the details. It's your voice, your vote. Hi, Denise.
Good morning, Stephanie. One of those polling stations is right here behind me at Fire Station number 3 near downtown El Paso. From the city of El Paso to Horizon, Clint, and even the village of Vinton, they all have items on this November's ballot, and including for the Isleta Independent School District, they have a major item on the ballot this November. Of course, YSD says it needs the money to pay for new schools, much needed renovations, and to close and even consolidate some campuses around the district. Well, this bond, $405 million bond, is a little less expensive than the previous one. The district is also counting on the approval of Proposition 1 to help convince voters. It would increase the exemption homeowners can claim on their taxes, which means some homeowners' tax bill would still be lower even if YSD's bond does pass. So last night on ABC7's Extra, Superintendent Xavier de la Torre was a guest on Extra to make his case for the bond, and we'll hear from him in the next half hour. But for information on early voting locations and hours, you can go to our website at KVIA.com. So right now you can cast your vote at any polling station like the one behind me here at station number 3, fire station number 3 near downtown El Paso. But come election day on November 3rd, you do have to go to your specific polling site. For now, we're live here downtown El Paso. Denise Olivas, ABC7.
All right, Denise, thank you for that live update. Happening today, the 5 teens who allegedly robbed stores and led police on a high-speed chase into New Mexico will appear in court in Alamogordo. The teens allegedly robbed 4 El Paso businesses with pellet guns. They were caught near Oro Grande. The teens, all students at Irvin High School, are being held at a juvenile detention facility in Gallup, New Mexico. All 5 are charged with aggravated assault on a peace officer with a deadly weapon, possession of a stolen vehicle, and tampering or destroying evidence.
Well, trial continues today for the woman accused of murdering her husband in 1977. The murder trial for former Eastwood teacher, 76-year-old Lisbeth Garrett, resumes this morning. The prosecution will continue to make its case. And a man is in the hospital after he was stabbed in East El Paso. This happened over the weekend, Sunday morning, at the East Side Crossing apartment complex on the 2000 block of Zaragoza. Police tell our crews that were on the scene that it happened after a dispute between neighbors. It's unclear how he was stabbed. We're told he was taken to a hospital and will survive.
El Paso police are investigating another stabbing in East El Paso. It happened around 2:30 Friday afternoon at an apartment complex on the 3600 block of George Dieter, just south of Montana. A fire dispatch supervisor told ABC7 EMS crews took 1 person to Del Sol Medical Center with life-threatening injuries.
To Carlsbad now, where police are trying to determine the motive behind a shooting at a hotel. Police were called to the Great Western Inn and Hotel on National Parks Highway Friday morning. A police spokesman says officers found a 33-year-old man with a single gunshot wound. So far, no arrests. In the Philippines, more than 16,000 people have been forced to evacuate their homes due to Super Typhoon Kopu. Some provinces are still without power this morning. The storm made landfall early Sunday, uprooting trees, knocking out power, and destroying a lot of homes. Officials say flooding and landslides are possible over the next few days as the storm slowly continues to move west.
Israeli police say 2 gunmen opened fire at a bus station in southern Israel, wounding at least 5 people. 1 attacker was shot and killed. The second was taken into custody. This as new concrete barriers are put up in East Jerusalem following weeks of attacks and rising tensions between Israelis and Palestinians. And Israeli authorities say Palestinians carried out 5 knife attacks on Saturday in Hebron, Jerusalem, and Kalandia. Police say the attackers were killed in 4 of the 5 incidents. The Israel Defense Forces say the intended victims were police, soldiers, and civilians. Meanwhile, hundreds of Israelis and Palestinians rallied together in Jerusalem, urging an end to the violence.
Police have identified the man killed in a shooting at a zombie-themed street party Saturday night in Florida. Officials say 20-year-old Expavius Tyrell Taylor died of a gunshot wound on the scene. Trent Kelly has more.
Crowded streets turned chaotic.
We heard a bunch of shots fired, so we kind of ran.
After a gunman opens fire in the heart of downtown Fort Myers Saturday night.
And we saw a guy, he was laying on the ground. He was obviously already passed, and there was someone else that got shot. And then they took another man out on a stretcher.
One of the girls was over there crying. The other girl was like over there like laughing like she didn't believe it.
The whole thing playing out in front of hundreds gathered for the 9th annual ZombieCon event. The sound sent crowds running for safety, many in fear for their lives.
I didn't really believe it because I thought it was a part of what happened tonight.
We didn't know if it was real or fake, so we kind of like ran, and then we were like, wait, was that real? And we went back. People were screaming, no, it was fake.
Police tell us the bullet struck 5 people, killing one of them. The body laying just feet away from panicked spectators. The shooting sent downtown into a lockdown for hours.
Party's over! Let's go!
Detectives blocking streets and evacuating buildings as they searched for the shooter. But with the gunman still at large, those who escaped with their lives hope they're caught soon before anyone else gets hurt.
I've never seen anyone die, so it was really scary.
That was Trent Kelly reporting. 4 people were hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries and a 5th refused treatment. Police are now currently searching for suspects.
Joaquin Guzman, the drug kingpin better known as El Chapo, was injured while evading authorities. That's according to officials who say they launched an operation to recapture Guzman based on intelligence they received. He got away, but not before being injured on his face and a leg. Guzman broke out of prison in July and has been on the run ever since. The U.S. is offering a reward of up to $5 million for information leading to Guzman's arrest. Mexico is offering a $3.8 million reward.
It's now 6:10. Here's a live look at that morning commute, how it's shaping up this morning. This is I-10 and Reynolds. If you're heading out right now, you should not run into any problems. This is I-10 and Horizon.
And keep it here for more to come on Good Morning El Paso.
We have a lot of headlines, including this story. A 6-year-old boy killing his little brother after finding a handgun in their home. And now prosecutors have charged the boy's father.
Also in lighter news now, why one of our weathercasters got slimed.
But first, let's go ahead and check in with Crystal Clay. She's got a look at your forecast. Good morning.
Good morning. No slime involved with our forecast. We are looking at rain, though, possibly. We'll talk about where the chance of rain starts and ends on the forecast coming up.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Crystal. This is ABC 7, where news comes first.